On an ordinary day in Cape Town 1967, Denise Duval, a 26-year-old woman, was walking through the city on her way to buy cake when a car suddenly came speeding out of nowhere and struck her. An ambulance was called and she was rushed to the hospital. Upon examinations, the doctors determined that she had suffered severe head injuries, leading to an event that will make medical history. At the hospital, Denise was declared brain dead, but her heart remained healthy and continued to beat. Her body was placed in the capable hands of Hamilton Naki, who expertly removed her heart. It was then handed over to Christian Barnard, who transplanted it into 57-year-old Louis Washkansky, marking the world's first successful heart transplant. Hamilton Naki's contribution and presence in the operation was a criminal offense under the current apartheid laws because he was black and the patient was white. Christian Barnard could have been prosecuted for allowing him into a white-only operating theater and for allowing him to touch a white patient. To make matters worse, Hamilton Naki was unqualified. He never went to medical school. He dropped out of school at 14 after 6 years of basic education. In this video, I'll tell you a gripping story of how an uneducated gardener became secretly involved in the world's first successful heart transplant. If you like this video, please smash the like button, demolish the subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Let's get to it. Hamilton Naki was born into a poor family in Ringwane, a village in Sendani located in South Africa's Eastern Cape province. He received limited formal education, attending school for only 6 years before leaving at the age of 14. He did not attend secondary school, but at the age of 18 left with his friend James to travel to Cape Town. While there, he received word that his family's donkeys and cows had succumbed to a disease, so he decided to look for work. The University of Cape Town took him on to help in the garden, specifically to roll the grass tennis courts on the university grounds. At the same time, a defining influence in Naki's career was establishing himself at UCT. In the 1950s, Robert Koch, a British-German physician and professor of surgery, asked Naki to step into the laboratory and hold a giraffe on which he was operating. Koch was trying to discover why giraffes did not faint when they lowered their heads to drink. He was so impressed with Naki that he invited him to work in the lab. Hamilton Naki began assisting Robert in the animal lab, initially performing tasks like animal care, shaving, weighing, and administering anesthesia. Over time, he became skilled in a wide range of surgical procedures from Robert, ranging from catheterization, suturing, to intubating and anesthesia. He took over post-operative care of animals. Before long, he could perform a liver transplant on a pig virtually single-handed. There was little that the surgeon could do that he couldn't. Robert left South Africa in 1957 due to his opposition to apartheid. The lab continued to evolve under new leadership. Christian Barnard taught Naki surgical techniques and anatomical names of the structures they were dealing with. Barnard recognized Naki's ability and used him firstly as his anesthetist and later as his principal surgical assistant. Hamilton Naki worked alongside Christian Barnard as he developed experimental techniques to open heart surgery. Naki was brilliant, possessed a remarkable memory, and learned quickly by observing others. His role became even more critical when Barnard developed arthritis in his hand. relying heavily on Naki's skill and precision. Despite the restriction of apartheid, Naki was promoted to senior technician, the highest position he could hold under the laws of the time. In December 1967, after being acquainted for a long time, Christian Barnard asked Mr. Naki to be part of a backup team in what became the world's first heart transplant. This violated South Africa's laws on racial segregation at the time, which among other things detected that blacks should not be given medical training, work in whites-only operating theaters, or have contact with white patients. The hospital gave permission, but not before advising Naki to keep his role a secret. His job was to remove the healthy heart from Mr. Val and hand it over to Barnard to transplant it. He did exactly that. He removed the beating heart from Mr. Val's body and handed it over to Barnard. The surgery was a whooping success. After the first successful human transplant operation, fame and fortune descended upon Groote Schuur Hospital and UCT. Sadly, Naki had to watch in the shadows as his involvement couldn't be made public due to the apartheid regime. Naki's part in the transplant operation was kept secret for years and only became known and slowly after the end of apartheid. Hamilton Naki was black, uneducated, and no way could be admitted that he had played a key part in the operation. He should have not been allowed in the operating room. He should never have touched a white woman, dead or alive. His role had to be kept very, very secret. After South Africa gained its independence in 1994, Hamilton Naki could now share his story of how he dropped out of school and worked as a gardener to mastering and teaching surgical techniques and his involvement in the world's first open heart transplant. In 2002, he was awarded the Order of Mapungubwe in bronze by the then President Thabo Mbeki and received an honorary Master of Science in Medicine degree from the University of Cape Town in 2003. When Hamilton Naki passed away on 29 May 2005, various credible publications began publishing his untold stories regarding his involvement in Groote Schuur Hospital. One of these publications included The Economist and the New York Times, as well as 2 interviews with Mr. Naki, one in the career section of the British Medical Journal and another with BBC Online. These obituaries highlighted Naki's involvement in the historic surgery, gaining significant attention both locally and internationally. However, to everyone's surprise, many of these medical journals later retracted their obituaries, admitting they had inaccurately stated that Naki had participated in the first human heart transplant, had operated on human patients, and worked at Groote Schuur Hospital in an official capacity. The then Dean of UCT's Faculty of Health Science, who knew Naki at the time of the first human transplant, wrote, "It is distressing that fiction is gathering momentum and tarnishing the name of a highly talented and good man with an untruth. The suggestion that Hamilton Naki performed the donor operation was never mentioned in life by the man himself, by the Department of Cardiac Surgery, or by the university in his citation for the honorary degree in 2003. It was not mentioned at his family funeral or at the memorial service in the medical school experimental laboratory. The reason for this, it never happened," I quote. Many other respected figures who were allegedly familiar with Naki or present during the surgery also came forward stating that claims of his involvement in the first human heart transplant were unfounded. The truth remains uncertain. Naki's contributions may have been obscured due to the apartheid-era policies which prevented recognition of his work, as acknowledging his role could have undermined the status quo of white medical professionals. Furthermore, the statement dismissing his involvement emerged only after Christian Barnard and Hamilton Naki had passed away, leaving the full truth forever certain. Nonetheless, Naki received posthumous recognition. When the new Netcare Christian Barnard Memorial Hospital was opened at the end of 2016, Netcare honored Naki and the surviving members of the first heart transplant team with a gold award. The company also established the Hamilton Naki Clinical Scholarship in his memory. Additionally, in April 2017, the city of Cape Town approved the renaming of Salazar Plain on the foreshore to Hamilton Naki Square.
My family was very poor. I couldn't manage to go to school. I take standard 6. Now from standard 6 I came here to work to the gardener.